Hello everyone and welcome to the Gemini Journalist. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join me here on my channel as I continue to introduce to you the works of different authors alongside sharing my work with you. Also still sharing with you a little bit of my culture so those international can get a little taste of Jamaica. So while we're on the topic, Taste of Jamaica, I do have a very special guest who is an author here in Jamaica as well. Very phenomenal woman if you ask me. And before I get a little into that, just want to touch back on what transpired in previous videos. So previously we touched, I did a little, you might have seen the introduction to the fair that I was doing, and that turned out pretty well. That was awesome actually. I also did an interview with Van Earl Mitchell. Van Earl Mitchell is international. He's an international author, also self-published on Amazon. I shared his links with you. He did Marley Learns Her ABCs, and of course you saw me reading that one to the kids. The kids really had a blast. They had a whale of a time with that one. So definitely, you know, great things happening here. So what we're doing here today, I'm introducing to you a colleague from Jamaica. So she's another colleague. As I said, she's a very phenomenal woman with a whole lot of experience underneath her belt. So definitely you will, as long as we go along today with the interview, I'm not even going to get much into it. She has a lot to share with us and you will just hear from her. I always like to say you hear it from the horse's mouth yourself. So definitely without delay, we're going to introduce her. So the author I speak of today is Marlene McPherson. Is from Jamaica. She's located here currently as well, and she has two books that she had shipped to me so I could share on my channel here. So the first one is Not by Chance. So this is a romance novel. Of course, down below I'll be including Marlene's information there. So Not by Chance is a Christian novel. It's a romance. So definitely she's going to tell us more about it. I don't want to steal her show, so just want to introduce that. That's Not by Chance, and definitely she'll be telling us more about that. Of course, she also sent me this here, a nice little Jamaican souvenir for those international. Trust me, I haven't started this one yet. It's a puzzle book. I didn't want to start it yet. I'm going to start it, you know, not even going to tell you guys, I'm going to surprise you, but that's definitely a Jamaican puzzle book. And I think it's a great souvenir for persons internationally. Those here locally, you'd enjoy this as well. I went through and it's pretty good, but definitely I know this would do great. Marlene would do great with this one internationally. And you see, of course, I've done previous videos where you saw it. I spoke of the breadfruit in Jamaica, the roast breadfruit. If you saw my video, Foods We Eat or Foods We Grow in Jamaica, you definitely see where I had spoken of the breadfruit, and it's in a coal pot. So yeah, very awesome book. All right, so without further delay, guys, help me in welcoming to my channel Marlene. So welcome to the Gemini Journalist. I have a lineup of about 9 or 10 questions for you today. So our first one, you know, I want you to just start off with telling everybody on the channel about yourself. Who is Marlene McPherson?
Thank you for having me, and I'm pleased to really share with you this afternoon. I'm Marlene McPherson. As a matter of fact, I should give you my full name. My full name is Marlene Faye Audrey Patricia Facey, and for 34 years I'm now McPherson, a happy, blessed McPherson. I have two wonderful sons who are now adults on their own. Each has a daughter, so I'm now a grandmother. And I have been in teaching for over 34 years. During this period, I have been working with the Gleaner as a correspondent for the parish of St. Thomas. That's where I am currently. And I really enjoyed it. The interchange, the different scene, the different things. Beautiful. I've also left teaching early, and I went to the financial institution where I was an advisor, and that was a whole new experience, new interchanging. And then I took my retirement. And I'm happy to be here. I'm now in what they call the emptiness. Hobbies, I like writing. I also like great conversation. I enjoy doing some amount of sewing. I've not been doing that, I must confess, for some time, but I like that. I also like to know that people come to know Christ as Lord and Savior, because that's my lifestyle. I've accepted Christ as Lord and Savior, and I was baptized the 12th of August, 1969. Another important factor which I think is very, very important is that I believe and I accept the second coming of Christ. As a result, I try to have my lifestyle in line with His Word. I also enjoy people having fantastic relationship, because I've had that. And I am also in the coaching business, in that I'm a relationship coach where I try to help Christian women to go through their relationship in a happy and streamlined manner according to the Word. And because guess what happened? Once we have great relationship, we'll have happy marriage. With happy marriage, great communities. And why do we not want great communities? So I am really like to know that I'm involved in helping persons, knowing that the future seems bright, of course with Christ. That's a nutshell about me.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. So there you have it. She's a mother, she's a grandmother. She did some work with the Gleaner. That's the main paper here, one of the main papers here in the island, Jamaica. She did work with them. Of course, you hear she's also a relationship coach. Again, down below, I'll be linking all her websites, social media. You can always reach out to Marlene if you want to do collabs with her. You want to reach out. You have issues with relationships. You can reach out to her. And you also see she's a strong woman in that she plays a big role in the Christianity world. So definitely that was Marlene. All right, so we're moving on, Marlene. We have the second question for you today. Of course, I got my little cards, so you see me looking down. So I have my second question for you today. How did your journey as an author begin? Tell everyone, how did Marlene begin writing as an author? What brought you down that journey? Let's go.
My journey began as an author when I thought of contributing to my husband's studies. And when I looked at it in reflection, I think my journey had a twofold dimension. I have seen where Christian women grapple as to what to do, how to do, to have a very good relationship. So what I try to do in my book is to give a guideline according to how I came through with great relationship. So I chronicleize my journey of my relationship before marriage and aim to help those persons who do not really have any blueprint. I enjoy that. The book has been going well, and I know some of your viewers will want to know it. It has a number of nuggets for a number of persons, both male and female.
All right, so there you go. That is Marlene, of course, telling us how her journey began as an author. Now we're moving down to our next question for you today, Marlene. Do you think there is a difference between an author and a writer? And if you do believe there is a difference, I want you to just go ahead and tell us a little bit more. Expound, give us your take on it.
An author and a writer are similar in that both write. Secondly, the writer has to be on the pulse of things, looking at trends, looking at what people want to know, or people interpret that particular piece of information, or to give new light to that body of information. The author does that too. But the great difference between the writer and the author is that the author has embodied his perspective. It can be through a story, can be through a report, it can be personal essay. And what he or she has done too, he or she has also enclosed it in a book. It can be a novel, it can be anything that he sees fit to put together, publish, then market. This marketing can be done even through a third party. The fact that he has done that with his perspective, whatever research he has done, whatever the need for that piece of information, and he has published, that makes him an author as against a writer. And there are different kinds of writers. You have sports writer, the blogger, the journalistic writer, different types. It's in the same way you have different kinds of author. Depends on the genre they can interact with well and they like to add to.
All right, lovely. So there you have it. That was Marlene telling us the difference. Bo. My daughter is in the background, and every time I pause the video, she comes and she listens to what's happening, and then every time I plug in, she's like, "Mommy, should I go now?" I'm sorry, guys. Marlene, I'm sorry. All right, so so we're moving on to our next question. So of course that was Marlene. She was telling us the difference, giving us the difference about writing, a writer and an author. So of course, you have different types of writers, different types of authors. Just like in movies, you have different types of actors, you have different types of singers. So there you go. Marlene broke it down for us and she told us a little bit about that. So our next question for you today, Marlene, do you believe in the popular term author's block? And if you do, I want you to expound on it for us today.
I think author's block is a temporary state. As a matter of fact, it should be a temporary state. Once the writer is frequent with his craft, the writer aims to deliver frequently. If that does not take place, he will have author's block. How to combat author's block? Read. Because in reading different articles, stories, reports, manuscript, what he's doing is feeding what I would call the creative juices. And in doing that, he'll have different response to those different pieces of information he has gleaned. So he has to read. Another thing he has to do, take interest in what is happening. Be in the moment. Talk to people. Interact. Look at events. Go out. You cannot be a writer and you do not go out. You're limiting yourself. Look at different, explore. Entertain yourself. What thoughts come to you? Why? Why is that person doing that? How? These are things that cause a curiosity to grow, and it will definitely nullify the whole question of author's block.
All right, guys, so there you have it. That was Marlene telling us about author's block. And trust me, I must say everything that Marlene said, I do agree. In fact, when I was writing my novels, I did a lot of research. You definitely, as an author, as a writer, you whatever it is you're writing on, you definitely have to research. I mean, you might have some knowledge of what it is that you're going to write on, but to be better at it, you definitely have to research. In anything you do, you have to research. For whatever you're doing, you're taking on a new job, you have to do some sort of research if you're going in for the very first time. So in most things you do, you definitely have to do research. All right, so I'm sorry, I'm the road's busy. So yeah, so definitely you have to do research. For me, as I was saying, I did a lot of research. I read a lot of books. I watched a lot of YouTube. I watched a lot of movies. So let's say you're gonna do a rape story, my rape story. As a matter of fact, I have the book with me. So I did my book, call it what you will, my rape story. Now, it's a fiction book. I've never experienced the situation, and my heart goes out to whoever has been in the situation. I'm not going to dwell on that, but definitely, you've not been in the situation. You need to, as she said, talk to people. You need to talk to people. You need to research. It's never happened to you, so you're not going to write, and it's not going to flow the way it would flow as opposed to a person who is experienced in it. So research, talk to people, go out, experience it all, and that way it will just come to you easier, and it'll make things easier for you to write on whatever topic it is that you're writing on. So definitely, I do agree with you, Marlene, and guys, everything she said, I hope you take it and run with it, especially for those new writers. All right, so here's our next question for you, Marlene. How do you process and deal with negative book reviews? I mean, if it's even just one person, we're going to always get that one negative review. How do you process that? If you've ever received any at any point, how do you process that? Let's hear it.
Negative reports are inevitable. Negative reviews are inevitable. Why? We are all from different backgrounds, with different experiences, different perspectives. So we will look at a piece of material and all interpret it differently. In other words, you'll have a different take, a different stay on the matter. If, for example, you have never been hungry, it's a different thing when you read about hunger and how this person feels hunger, what he intends to do to ensure that this hunger is satisfied. So you'll have different reports, but guess what? These different reports should cause you to enlarge your borders. In other words, do not take it negatively. Look at it. Where could I improve? What did I not include? How should I look at this? Am I too narrow in my thinking? Should I do more report? These are the ways in which you can look at negative report. Perhaps too, there's a silver lining to it. You have never thought of it that way. What if you thought of it that way, that review has said, and you do it that way? What result would come forth? So negative report should be looked at in different perspective. Look at it as new light, new strength, new insights.
Wonderful. So there you go. That was Marlene telling us about how she takes book reviews, how she receives and accepts book reviews, negative book reviews. So again, I agree with her. Use it as a way to improve yourself. I would put it as, what's that word? Constructive criticism. So definitely, some people will always be saying yes, 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 this is awesome, this is awesome. But in the back of their heads, they're actually saying, oh, I don't like this. So not everybody is going to be truthful enough to come out and say and highlight your areas of weaknesses. But once someone does step forward, is man or woman enough to step forward and say, hey, you could fix this, you could do this a little bit differently, don't put this here, do it this way. They are your viewers if you're vlogging, they are your readers if you're writing, they're your audience in whatever it is. So take the negative reviews and work on it. Work on it to build yourself. All right, so definitely I do agree with Marlene there on the book review, how to take negative reviews, and it goes right across. It's a broad umbrella for anything at all it is that you do. Take it and run with it. All right, so Marlene, our next question for you, and this is a good one as well. What advice would you give to a writer working on their first book? Anybody you might know or you don't know, what advice, as a phenomenal woman in the business, what advice you have to give to that author or writer?
For a new author, the kind of advice I would give are these. 1, read about that particular genre you're going to write in. Read from the experts. See how they handle that particular topic. Mind you, you have your perspective because perhaps you have gone through that experience. So your experience will be different. But it is still wise to get wisdom from the experts. Read how they look at that particular issue. Next, research. Is it one that people want to hear about now? Or is it one that they want to hear just few pointers? Is it one that will bring encouragement, positivity? What people want to know there's hope and there are changes and things can go right. And when we as writers capture those elements in our deliberations, we are able to satisfy the different readers. And when we do this, we will not just have a one-time buyer. We'll have repeats. And this propels us to write. And there we'll have a business and a market. Another thing that is important for first-time writers to do, have clearly your target market or target audience and your why. Why do you want to put out to the world that particular body of knowledge? Is it entertaining? Is it one that is edifying? Is it one that will make other lives better? Is it one that will cause people to ponder their actions? Think on these things.
All right, everyone, again, powerful words from Marlene McPherson. So it takes us back to a previous question where you notice she said research. So again, in everything you do, you have to research. Like I said, in my novels, I did a whole lot of research, stuff that I'm not familiar with, not too unsure of. You Google, you YouTube, you watch movies, whatever it is. Research. You talk to people, just go out, experience it all so you can flow when you're ready to start your work. So thank you so much for that, Marlene. All right, so we're moving on to our next question. So what would you say, Marlene? And I always laugh when I ask this question. What would you say to an author who wanted to design their own book cover? Let's hear it from you, Marlene.
The cover of the book is part of the marketing tool. Therefore, the cover should be one that brings curiosity to the prospective buyer, even if he or she did not come to buy that book. It should draw the reader in. What kind of scene is that? That looks like an experience I went through. What does that writer want me to know about me? Wow. And the prospective reader will take up the book. And after reading the first page and the blurb, a sale. So the design of the cover is essential. Give it to the graphic artist who has the eye for visuals. Give it to the graphic artist who knows about colors, pacing, the whole works. Let us face it. We all have different talents. We all do best in our area of specialization. So my advice, if it's at all possible, give it to the professional. Because that's key. You'll never get another chance to recapture what you want if the first cover was faulty. Let's do it right. I think I can boast here a little. I think I've had a win with that. My cover captured a number of persons. People just said to me, I like your book cover. And I felt good. It was a graphic artist who did it. So I'm speaking from experience. Another experience that I had. Right now, I'm working on a book about abuse of these twins. They are giving me their story. And I put the prospective cover in a forum. And wow, it wasn't done by a graphic artist. I just mocked up a thing. I got a flogging. Why? They said I did not capture what I'm really writing about. These were instructive criticism. And right there, I was able to see the need for a properly designed cover. And again, what you can do, get different insights from different persons.
All right, so as Marlene says, leave it to the expert. If you are not multi-talented like that, where you can literally create your own book cover, leave it to the expert. you want to ensure that your book, once it's on the shelf, your audience, your readers, they can literally see it and grab it and say, oh, this looks pretty interesting, and they want to grab a copy of it. So definitely, if you aren't talented like that, leave it to the experts. So that's what she did. She left her work to the experts. She got a graphic designer to design her covers for her, and they turned out pretty well. So definitely, if her readers see these books, they are definitely intrigued and quick and ready to want to catch the books. And also the work on the back as well is very important. You have to definitely ensure that what's on the back of the book, it tells a little bit about what's inside, so the book cover grabs them, and when they flip it around, what's on the back definitely grabs them even more. That urges them to want to go ahead and purchase the book. So again, leave it to the experts. But if you are multi-talented like I am, then you can always create your own. If you know within yourself that you've got the talent like this, you can create your own book cover. So like, not stealing Marlene's show, but just like I did with my books. So this is The Rookie, Carson Fine's True Love. And then this is The Rookie, The Royal Wedding. And then my third one is Call It What You Will, My Rape Story. So these 3 books I created on my own. So my dad was an artist, and my mom has artistic traits, and she was also a dancer, and she's a fitness instructor. If you've watched my previous interview back a year ago, you would have seen that. So definitely, if you don't have that artistic background, and you don't have it in you to create the cover that will grab your readers, definitely leave it to the experts. All right, everyone. So we're down to the last question for you today, Marlene. So the last question real quick is, what part of your book did you have the hardest time writing? For me, if you asked me, it doesn't look like Marlene would have a hard time writing any of her works based on her experience. But go ahead and tell us from your end. Did you have a hard time writing any section or any aspect of your work? Let us hear it.
I can confess I did not have much difficulty writing my book. Reason? The main material that I wanted in the book were my letters sent by my husband. And I had all of that put away. And I just start where it started, because I aim to bring out how my journey of my romantic relationship started. So there was not much of a difficulty to do that. Thank you, Miss Gemini, for having me here. It was my pleasure to share with your viewers. Hope we'll have another chance for another interchange. God bless you.
All right, there you go. So as I suspected that Marlene wouldn't have a hard time writing her work, so pretty easy for her, just like my work came pretty easy when I started out as well. So awesome sauce. So guys, remember, Marlene did Not by Chance. God Answers Prayers, and this is a part 1. So definitely I'm going to include her links down below. You can grab a copy of her work. Her social media sites will be there. Her website would also be linked, so you can find Marlene and get to know about Marlene some more. And then you also have the Jamaican puzzle book. So definitely go ahead and tap on the links below. Check out her work. All right, so I just want to take this time out and thank you so much, Marlene, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us here on the Gemini Journalist. It was an honor having you, getting to hear your side of the story, and also have you share your encouraging words with those as new authors and authors who are already in the business, not as seasoned as you, but still in the business, coming along for quite some time. All right, so definitely everyone, looking forward to seeing you as we begin to read the works of Marlene. My next video will be posted. We'll be doing the first chapter reading of Not by Chance, so you got to stick around. This one will be read on my channel here. Remember, I want you to go ahead and hit like, hit share, subscribe, turn that notification bell on, grab your friends and have them join you with me here on the Gemini Journalist. I promised you guys I would do TikTok lives where I'd read my work. I'd also do Instagram lives, also going to read my work, but I discovered I have to have a certain amount of followers, so the lives are a little scrapped for all social media for now, but I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing, I have been doing, and I do appreciate every one of you, each and every one of you, for continuing to join me here. So without further delay, you guys have yourself a happy Christmas, happy holidays. You stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll definitely see you soon. Marlene, thank you again. We'll see you again. Take care.